that an AC louder than normal, or does it always sound like that? It's annoying. Can you hear it? Check 1 2 1 2. The AC is running and ruining my studio. Okay, I'm ready. Ready. Okay. So now we're on social media. Brianna. OG Brianna. If you're listening in the Turks and Caicos or wherever you are, please tag Catalina, please. That would be great. Wherever you are. Unbelievable.
Now, Behind the Law with Justin Clark and Allie Mack on ESPN 580 Orlando.
And welcome to the program. It's another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. My name is attorney Justin Clark. Thank you for spending your evenings here with us on our favorite sports radio station. We follow live, local, loud. The boys down there, Nicky Football, great show tonight at 8 o'clock p.m. You can also watch the television programs this weekend and every weekend. Saturday, 12:30 p.m. on CBS. It is You Have Real Estate with me, Justin Clark. And then Sunday, it is this show, Behind the Law. But it's Behind the Law on television at 10 a.m. on TV 27. Also, do not forget to follow at Behind the Law Radio on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. And you can watch this show every single day right there as well. To my right, it is Brianna. Hello, Brianna. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well. You know, I don't have to say new Brianna anymore. Those of you who have listened for a while know that we had OG Brianna, and then she hired new Brianna to take over her place. Mm-hmm. But when she said take over, I didn't know that she meant she was like just not showing up anymore. I mean, I just haven't seen her. Where is she? Where is OG Brianna? Do you know?
I have no idea. Brianna, if you're listening, where are you?
Let me level with you a little bit. So here's what happened. You know, I'm not telling you this on the air, Brianna. This is just me and you talking as friends, of course. Okay. So Brianna, OG Brianna, worked for me as sort of like the marketing director, right? But then she was involved in the radio show as well, you know, kind of running the board, and she was a personality on the show. But, you know, she was on my payroll. She was on the law firm payroll. Subsequent to that, here maybe like a month ago, we started a marketing company called Limitless Marketing Concepts, right? Mm-hmm. So Brianna and I are like business partners now, which is great. But I didn't realize when I got into business with her, that meant I would never see her again. Right? Right. I mean, where in the world is she? I thought that now you're a big business owner, you'd be here all the time. I figured I'd start seeing you at 7 p.m. when I'm here.
You have to have some sort of communication as a business
but no,
partners.
Now that we're business partners, I don't know. I mean, she just disappeared. Have you seen her lately at all?
No, I have not.
Jeez. Where are you? Where are you, Brianna? OG Brianna. New Brianna's here.
I'm right here.
OG Brianna's disappeared. So, I don't know. We have a very special show for you today, even though Brianna's not going to be here. We're going to do the news. We'll also play Stump the Clarkie in the second half hour, and throughout the show, a very special interview with a real estate agent here in Central Florida, Catalina Pennant. Jeez. See, I've been struggling so much with the first name. Well, let me just welcome to the show. Catalina, how are you? Very nice of you to join us today. So we're going to talk a lot with Catalina about new home purchases. And we'll talk all things real estate, but I specifically want to talk about those of you who are thinking about buying new construction, because that's something that she's worked on both sides of it. She's been in regular real estate, like she is now helping people buy the houses, but she's also worked for the builder, for the developer, so she's been on that side of things as well.
I have the insights.
So we're going to get some inside scoop on whether you should or should not consider buying new construction. And when I say new construction, you know what I mean. I'm talking about these neighborhoods that pop up, and you know the builder's a name you've heard of before, and they have all the little flags flying in front. You know, you know, they probably give you hot dogs and things for free on Saturday or Sunday.
Food trucks.
The food trucks are there too. So we'll talk with Catalina about whether or not it is a good idea to buy new construction. But before we do that, we got to figure out what's in the news.
All right, what is going on? So the French Open semifinals will take place tomorrow. So Federer versus Nadal. That's the match that I'm looking forward to seeing, right?
I totally ignore. I haven't seen 1 minute of the French Open.
Really?
Not one. Have you?
No.
Oh, yeah. But
I'm looking forward for.
But that's a good matchup, of course.
I believe that Nadal will be the...
You just think he's sexy.
No, what? No, I don't.
Yeah, I know.
He's a better player.
I know Pilar does. Every time I'm watching tennis, which is somewhat infrequently, Pilar will walk by the TV when Nadal's playing, and I'm like, I turn it off.
Does that make you jealous?
I mean, a little bit, you know? Because he is a handsome man.
He is.
So I won't let her watch Nadal.
Oh.
I mean, Federer, he's a handsome man too, I guess. But hey, you know,
Nadal is younger.
I feel like Pilar thinks Nadal is sexy, where Federer is just sort of a handsome man, and I'm okay with that. I don't want her seeing some sexy man on TV.
Oh,
And the dude always takes his shirt off when he wins. I'm like, we have a locker room for a reason, Nadal.
You might have to block
Seriously,
her from watching
why
TV.
does he need to take his shirt off after every match? It's ridiculous.
He wants to show off his body.
Well, yeah, I guess I would too. Trust me, I barely take my shirt off at the pool. I had to go all the way to Destin to actually go somewhere where I didn't see anyone where I could take my shirt off.
Okay, and then Apple, so they announced that they will be shutting down the iTunes app. So instead of the iTunes app, there will be 3 individual apps for music, podcasts, and TV.
I totally don't understand what you're talking about.
You're not an Apple user?
Yeah, but so
the iTunes
isn't
app.
that like a big deal? iTunes, doesn't everyone use iTunes?
Everyone uses it. That's why it's a big deal. They're shutting it down after 18 years.
But why would they shut it down?
I don't know why. I
So,
mean, it's been
time out.
18 years.
So what are they doing with it?
So they're going to make it into 3 individual apps. So instead of iTunes, they're going to have an app for music, an app for podcasts, and an app for TV.
You know why they're doing this?
Why?
Because the more apps that you have on your phone, the more battery it uses, the faster you get pissed off at your phone and go buy a new phone.
That's true.
That's what it is. They're trying to make us buy more chargers and phones faster. You know, the faster they can turn over the phone and make us buy a new one, the faster they make more money.
That's true. Once a new phone comes out, that's when people have issues with their phones.
Yeah, exactly.
And then, so Google Maps, they will soon have a visual feature that will allow for you to track a storm's path. So you can track a storm's path through Google Maps. So like, for example, if you're en route to a destination that's impacted by a storm, you will get a notification saying, don't go to that route.
Okay.
That's
I like
amazing.
it, and I will tell you something. And look, I know we're doing a radio show right now, ESPN 580, our favorite radio station, but the traffic reporting on all other stations, not this station, all other stations, is horrendous. You cannot listen to the radio and figure out what's really going on in traffic. You can't. It's terrible, right? I mean, have you ever been sitting in a traffic jam on I-4 and it's like stopped? And then the traffic report will come on and they're like, oh, breezy day on the interstate. You're flying right through, right? It's
true,
ridiculous. The traffic reporting in radio is terrible, horrendous. But it is pretty good when you are heading out of town or something, and you use the GPS. What is this Google This is what hold on. Just wait 1 second, ladies and gentlemen. What is this? This is what I use. Brianna, what is this one?
Maps. That's Maps.
This is Google Maps? Is this what you're talking about?
That is, yeah.
Well, whatever this is, Google Maps is good. And I just went on a long road trip. This thing knows when an accident's ahead.
Yeah.
You can listen to the radio station. No, they have no clue. When Google Maps, this thing knows. It's pretty up to date, so I trust this.
Hey, so we're in hurricane season, right? So you can use that app as well for those notifications.
All right, so
That's gonna be beneficial.
basically the word on the street, I like Google Maps for traffic reporting, but not radio.
Same here.
Well, soon you'll like it for weather as well.
Ah, good. What else is going on today?
That is all.
Good job. You're listening to Behind the Law on ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark here with you. Brianna is to my right. To my left, very special guest. She is a real estate agent with eXp Realty. Catalina
Yes.
Pennant, how are you? So where are you from originally again? I forgot.
I'm from Romania.
And how long have you been over here?
Almost 10 years.
Oh, okay. It's not that long, really. What are
I've been
things?
in Michigan, though, for the
okay.
last 5 years, and
Okay.
Orlando just 5.
How are things over in Romania now? What's it like?
It's very, very different.
Yeah.
If we're talking business and even real estate, because I've been licensed and did real estate in Romania, as well, is completely different than here. This year is the anniversary of 30 years since we stopped being a communist country.
Okay.
And you think economically would be a lot further ahead than we actually are.
I'm so dumb, so I apologize in advance
No
about
problem.
this. But Romania was once part of
USSR.
The USSR, right? And then
Yes.
it all broke up 30 years ago, and that's when you became a non-communist country, I guess, right?
Correct, and part of the European Union.
Okay. But now the economy's still not. I mean, has it been really good at times, or is it still just sort of stagnant?
No, it's been stagnant and pretty bad, meaning we don't have a middle class in Romania.
Yeah.
We're just upper and
Really?
lower class, and there's a lot of corruption in politics, and that's a big, big issue.
How did you end up going from Romania to Michigan?
Better place,
Huh?
chasing the American
Was
dream.
immigration easy in that situation, or is it
No,
hard?
no, it's very, very complicated for a Romanian to actually get a visa and even travel and visit the U.S.
Really?
I've gotten denied quite a few times, and finally I was granted a visa and moved from a visa to a green card, from a green card to a U.S. citizen now.
Wow, congratulations. How long citizen?
1 year.
Oh, congrats. I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
Well, we're glad you're a citizen as well, because right on the other side of this break, we're going to ask you a very important question. A lot of us are out there looking for new properties. We're trying to upgrade our home, or we're renting and we want to buy a house now. And we've all seen these big neighborhoods pop up with all this new construction going on. Is that a good place to start my house hunt? Right on the other side of this break, it is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. All right. Now we'll talk to your stuff.
I thought that was it, my stuff. That's it.
You still have
I
40
made it.
minutes. That 30,
30
minutes.
minutes.
To go.
Oh my god.
Let's see if she's tired. Wow, congratulations. How long citizen?
Oh. I'm sharing myself.
All right, you ready?
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program. Attorney Justin Clark with you, as we are every weeknight, 8 o'clock p.m. Watch us at Behind the Law Radio as well. We are joined by a very special guest, real estate agent with EXP Realty, Catalina Pennant. How are you?
I'm doing great, thank
New
you.
construction, very hot out there. We went through a phase 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. The economy here was terrible. You know, people stopped building. No one could get loans to put up neighborhoods. But now we're at a point where they are building like crazy again. When you're talking to someone who is looking to buy a house, do you recommend going into these neighborhoods and buying new construction?
I definitely do. I work both sides of real estate. It can be an older home, new construction. It doesn't really matter to me, but I personally recommend new construction for so many different reasons.
Tell me about it.
One of them being here in Florida, we were talking earlier about hurricane season coming up. New construction is built up to codes, and codes regulations change. A home built 20 years ago might not have the same windows and the same structure, so that's one of the reasons. The rest, everything else that's put inside the house, it comes with warranties. Not just talking about appliances, but AC and roof, and all those are really, really important for hurricane season. We have a lot of people here in Florida that are buying vacation homes, and then they live up north or in different states. So it's good to have that peace of mind that you can leave and your home is safe.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so a lot of people, when they go buy a new car, which is a big expense, a big purchase, but certainly not a home purchase. The home is normally the biggest investment someone's going to make in their life. But when we buy a car, the first thing we ask is, okay, does it have Bluetooth? And can I plug my iTunes, whatever thing into it, right? You want the car to be technologically advanced. If you're going to buy a new car, you want some technology in the car. What about houses? I mean, are new homes now more technologically advanced than an older house?
Oh, definitely. So they come with the new house smell. They're all smart homes now. I visited a few different builders, and I'm realizing though they call it something different, it's just basically smart homes. They have Alexa. You can pretty much control your entire house from your phone, from the front door locks to the garage to lights to AC to everything you can control. So that definitely didn't happen 20 years ago with the homes built then.
So what are some of the things? So you can control most things from your home, right? But like, what are some of the things in there that you can control? I mean, you said garage. You're talking about AC. Everything is.
Yeah, pretty much. So you can just talk to the home and say, lock the front door. Is the garage door locked? Dim the lights, and all of that.
I remember the days where we would go somewhere and think, you know what? I think I forgot to lock my door, and we would turn all the way around to go check it out. So now you're saying we can do it and that's what I still have to do because I don't have a new home. But you're saying that you can do all of that from your phone now when you buy a new house. Is that pretty standard on new homes to have all that?
It is. It's not an upgrade. Most communities and reputable builders, they do have that standard.
What about lights and things like that in the house?
Yeah, lights too, as long as you connect all the smart lights.
See, my only fear is when you buy something so technologically advanced that it's all going to like short circuit on me or something, and none of it's going to work. Does that happen? Does that happen or no?
And the purge starts.
Yeah, exactly. That is my fear.
I have not heard of any of those cases yet.
What about pools? Are pools more technologically advanced now?
That not really, because most builders do come with the option of having a pool built, but they're not standard. So,
do you think that if I buy a new house right now versus buying an old house, do you think my electricity bill, same amount of people in the house using the same electricity, is it going to be less in a new house due to technological upgrades or more or same? What do you think?
Definitely a lot more energy efficient.
Yeah. And what do they do? I mean, how do they make it more energy efficient? What are they doing?
Well, first of all, the AC and the HVAC. Second, the windows are very important. I live in an older home. I'm looking towards purchasing my first new home, and I see my electric bill compared to a brand new home, the same square footage, just because of the windows, the roof, the insulation that's used in the roof, and so on. So definitely more energy efficient.
Real estate agent Catalina Pennant joins us today on Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark with you. I have Brianna to my right. And Brianna, by all means, you jump in anytime. I know you're getting close to the house hunting phase of your life.
I am.
What age do you think most people on average buy their first home, Catalina? What do you think?
So I just read this very interesting statistic the other day that starting next year, it's expected that 45% of home buyers are going to be millennials.
Okay.
So that's very good to know. And that being said, about 90% of them use a realtor, which is really good. That's because the millennial generation is more technological, of course, so they spend a lot of...
Catalina, about the rental market now versus the buy market. I mean, the interest rates still are historically low, meaning you're going to get a very low payment if you go to buy a house. But how's the rental market?
I don't deal with the rental market that much, but I definitely recommend renting because of the interest rates. Last week, actually, they dropped to an historic low since 2008.
Yikes.
As much they dropped in 1 week. So if you have the possibility to buying a home and renting it out, it's a great investment, and this is the heaven for investors.
Yeah. I'll tell you my position on this. The rental market is out of control for renters. It's great for landlords, but to rent like a one-bedroom apartment now, you're at $1,200-$1,300. I mean, it is out of control. Whereas you could go buy a house for $200,000, and your mortgage payment's going to be $1,100. It's going to be less to buy a house than it is to rent.
So I'll give you my personal example. When I moved to Orlando, I didn't know what area I want to live in, so I rented for 1 year a 2-bedroom apartment, and it was $1,750.
Yeah, oh, wow. Absolutely.
That was my rent, and that is exactly what my mortgage is right now on a 3-bedroom home with a pool, with
everything,
all of that.
The whole shebang. And you're not renting; it's yours. You can go paint little Johnny's room if you want to without having to get permission from the landlord, you know? So back to new construction. We're talking about buying houses that are new construction, that are brand new. A lot of times when I go into this new development, you know, I talk to the person at the sales desk who's helping show me around and that sort of thing. But then we talk about, well, if you want to do the mortgage, if you're going to get a mortgage or if you're going to do the closing, you have to do them through us, through our in-house mortgage company or in-house title company. Why is that? And do I have to use those companies if I don't want to?
No, definitely not. So I'm glad you're touching on this point. This is really, really important for people to know. There's misconceptions on both sides and good and bad sales agents altogether. But that being said, when you go to new construction and you're speaking to the sales agent that's working in the model home, and they recommend their certain mortgage company that they have in-house, they cannot force you to use that mortgage company. Most of the time what they do is they attract the clients by giving them special incentives, such as closing cost. And that's if you use their in-house lender. But if you choose not to, or you're already pre-approved with your own lender and you want to do that, you might just be at risk of not getting that incentive towards closing costs, but you can definitely do that.
You worked at that sales desk before.
Yes.
In real life, on the ground, what normally happens? Let's say that I am buying new construction, but I have one of my best buddies, or my cousin, or my wife is a mortgage broker, and I want to keep that in-house. Do you find that the seller, the developer, if I say, no, I want to use my wife to do my mortgage, will they typically roll over and give me the incentive anyway, or are they like, nope, not giving it to you?
Depending on the builder and depending how it led up to that, some builders actually try to pre-qualify you first with their in-house lender, and if for some reason you're not qualified with them, they go to a preferred lender or to your lender that you're already pre-qualified with. So depending on the builder and the relationship you're developing, you definitely have that option.
Got it. All right, talk to me a little bit about upgrades, and we'll probably have to finish this on the other side of this break. But this is something that makes me a little nervous. You were on the TV show with me, which you can watch Saturday on CBS, 12:30 p.m. You have Real Estate with attorney Justin Clark. We were talking about upgrades because when you take someone through the model home, I imagine most of the time the model home has all the upgrades. I mean, it just makes sense. I get it. That's good business. But then when you go actually put a contract in, a lot of times it doesn't have all the upgrades, and then you have to really add on. So if they say it's going to be $250,000, then maybe that's kind of the basic house without all of the upgrades. Let's tell people who are thinking about new construction what to watch out for when it comes to buying new construction in relation to the upgrades. But let's do that right on the other side of this break. We'll do that and play Stump the Clarkie. It's ESPN 580 Orlando. Okay. You're doing great.
I'm surviving.
You're doing very well. And it's good information.
I am making it. I should be the spokesperson for new home sales.
There you go. We'll talk about other stuff in a minute. All right. Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
Welcome back to the program. Justin Clark with you for another edition of Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 Orlando. We follow live, local, loud, Nicky football. Great show down there tonight. If you have any questions, 321-282-1055. Don't forget the two TV shows we have this weekend and every weekend. Saturday, 12:30, CBS. It is You Have Real Estate with me. And then Sunday morning it is this show, Behind the Law, but it's Behind the Law on television, 10 a.m. on TV 27. Also, you can watch this program with us every day on social media at Behind the Law Radio, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can watch us right there. Brianna is here to my right. Hello, Brianna. How are you?
Hello, I'm good.
And to my left, very special guest. She's a real estate agent with EXP. Her name is Catalina Pennant. How are you?
I'm doing great.
Thanks for being here. So we're about to play a little game together, all right? But I don't want you to be nervous because here's how it works. It's called Stump the Clarkie. They're going to ask us, Brianna's going to ask us 4 questions. We'll write all 4 questions down. And then after that, what we're going to do is go back and score this game. However, they like to see me lose. So it's highly likely that the category today is going to be something you know more about than I do. So don't be nervous. But without further ado.
All right, and now it's time for Stump the Clarkie. Come on, Clarkie. We need you to get over here. We got some great trivia questions we want you to answer. Come on, Clarkie. Get over here.
Thank you, Fulton Allen. Brianna, what is said category today?
The category is all about real estate.
Hey, shocker. The only thing that could have been better for her would be new construction.
Yes, that's right.
All
But
right.
she is also an agent. Isn't
Of
she?
course
Yeah.
she's an agent. Yes, yes. All right, let's play this game.
All right. Question number 1. What percentage of vacant homes are there in Florida?
Who? Don't know. I guess that's why it's a game. Vacant homes. All right. Does this count squatters?
It can, yeah. Abandoned
Okay.
homes. Vacant homes.
I think I'm a little high on this, but we'll stick with the first answer. Question number 2.
How many realtors are there in Florida?
In the whole state?
Yes.
Active or
Active.
just licensed?
Active.
I think what I found out is there are about as many realtors as lawyers. It's kind of a similar amount. That's true. What do you think people hate more, realtors or lawyers? Probably lawyers,
Lawyers, right?
Hey!
Who wants to deal with a lawyer?
Watch it. I don't know who asked you. All right, question. Are we ever going to play against each other, Brianna? We haven't yet, have we?
We have not.
We're going to have to do that someday. All right, question 3.
What percentage of homes sold are single-family homes? What percentage of houses sold are single-family?
I'm just throwing numbers out here.
Yeah, likewise. We call it educated guess
Yeah.
here on Behind the Law. All right, one final question for a Thursday night edition of Behind the Law. Go ahead.
Approximately how much is commercial real estate worth in the U.S.?
Oh, wow.
Jeez.
In the whole U.S.
I have no idea.
I'm not that global.
All right. I have no earthly idea. I might sound like an idiot on that one, but whatever. We'll go with it. We'll go with it. All right. You guys ready to score this game?
Yes.
All right.
No.
You're listening to Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Justin Clark playing Stump the Clarky against Catalina Pennant. She's a realtor at EXP. All right, Brianna, let's score this game today.
Okay, question number 1. What percentage of vacant homes are there in Florida?
Catalina, what did you say?
13%.
13%. Pretty good guess. I went a little bit higher, probably incorrectly. 18%. Brianna, what is the right answer?
20%.
20%. Wow, that's shocking. We are counting squatters, it seems, as non-vacant homes. But all right, I'll take the point. We're going into question number 2. 0-1. Justin Clark pulls ahead. All right, what is question 2?
How many realtors are there in Florida?
All right, I said
I'm curious.
80,000 realtors in Florida.
I said more towards 200,000.
200,000. You're probably right. I think there's like 18,000 in the Orlando area alone. I can't remember. All right, what's the right answer?
180,000.
180,000.
Yay.
We tie the game here. Good answer. I was way, way low. All right, going into question 3, we're tied 1-1.
What percentage of houses sold are single-family homes?
All right, so Catalina, you go first on this one. What did you say?
78.
You said 78%, like 7-8%? It's a pretty good
High.
answer. No, I think it's a wonderful answer. I went with 78% as well. We said the same exact answer. That's great.
No way.
We both said 78%. What was the question again?
What percentage of houses sold are single-family homes?
Yeah, we both said 78%. What's the right answer?
80%.
80%,
Wow.
and we were both pretty close. That's
It's
pretty
still a
good.
tie.
That's good. We'll double those points. We'll give you a point, me a point. And now we're tied 2-2 going into the final question on Stump the Clarky here on
Wow.
Behind the Law. All right, this is a tough one.
Yes.
A really tough one.
Yeah,
I think you and
it
I could
was.
be trillions of dollars apart on this one, or trillions of dollars wrong. What was question 4?
Approximately how much is commercial real estate worth in the U.S.?
All right, so I went with $8 trillion. Because look, I mean, just one building alone in Manhattan is like $1 billion, right? And there are 100, 200 of the, I don't know. Look, I just have no idea. All right, what did you say?
6.
6 trillion?
Ooh, okay.
6 trillion? Okay, all right. So I went with 8 trillion. She went with 6 trillion. What is the right answer?
6 trillion.
What?
No, she got it.
Right on the money. Congratulations.
Right on.
Yes.
You have defeated me today and stumped the
I
Clarky.
did. Do I get a prize?
Yeah, it's a bottle of water with my face on it. They're all over the place here. Good job. Right on the money,
Yay.
$6 trillion. I'm pretty proud of you on that one. I mean, I don't
Yeah,
like
me too.
losing, but there's no one I'd rather lose to than you. Thank you for playing.
Okay, folks, thank you so much for being with us. Clarky, let's get out of here, buddy. My stomach thinks my throat's cut. I'm starving.
All right, Catalina Pena joins us today. We're talking about new construction, but before the break, we were talking specifically about upgrades because I've seen a million times where someone comes into my office, they're upset because they went to the builder, put a contract for $250 to buy the house that they went and saw the model home, but then the next thing they know, it's actually $350 or $375 because of all of the upgrades that were in the model home, but they weren't in the home where they actually saw the contract done. How does it work with these upgrades when you're buying new construction?
Okay, so first of all, I think most buyers nowadays are very knowledgeable. They all do their homework online before they visit new or old homes. But you're right about that. That happens more often than not, and that's because they're not being explained very well, the terms of contract, and nobody likes to read 30, 50 pages in contract. Not even us as realtors kind of skip through the important parts. But I definitely recommend, first of all, using a realtor if you're buying a new home. Realizing that the sales agent that works in the model home is there representing the builder. They're still licensed in the state of Florida, and they have to abide by our code of ethics. But they might not disclose everything. They might not have definitely your best interest at heart. So be represented by a realtor. They know exactly the questions to ask and what to explain and how to explain it to you. When you're in the model home, as you're walking through the model home, say you pick a home that looks just like that, the same floor plan, but it's not built. Ask exactly what is upgraded in this home. Most of the times you want to ask about appliances and countertops and kitchen-related things and roof. And some of them have things that make them look pretty, crown molding, added things. Believe it or not, a lot of people ask if it comes with the furniture.
Yeah, probably not furniture. I mean,
Not
I think
furniture.
I even understand the furniture's probably
Don't ask
extra.
about that, but definitely ask about the appliances, about the countertops, and ask where those things are written in the contract and review them before signing anything.
Are appliances normally included or not included, or just varies?
Varies
Okay.
between different builders, but most of them, I would say 90% of them do include appliances. It's another thing to attract people. Ask about the appliances.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's stainless steel in the model home, and it might be a different brand or a different color or black standard appliances in your home. So ask accurate questions.
Generally speaking, when I go into this new development and I see the model home, which is going to have all the upgrades, I'm just assuming. I mean, assume that the model home has all the upgrades. When I first see that first contract that's presented to me on the home that's not built yet, right? I'm buying new. I'm buying pre-construction.
Yeah.
Is that contract typically going to be a very, 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 very basic without any upgrades at all? I mean, is it sort of a bait and switch normally, or is it normally somewhat similar to the model?
No, what happens, even if you're just getting the lot, the piece of land, it has to be permitted through the city. And when that happens, they already decided which model home is going to be built on that. And when that's decided, they also have to so-called spec the home, which means they have to decide what color is going to be on the exterior of the home, what type of roof, what's going to be the interior color package.
Yeah.
So that's all going to be in the contract in detail. Even if you just bought a piece of land and you're looking at dirt, in the contract you're going to have all the details about your home.
Is my home going to go up in value or down over the next 5 years? Do we have another collapse ahead? Let's answer that question and more right on the other side of this break. It is Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. All right. One more segment. And the show runs at 8 o'clock tonight.
8 o'clock tonight, yay. So this is not that bad.
It's fun, right?
No.
Congrats on the big victory, by the way.
All right. I literally just threw that out, though. I had no idea. For some reason, I was thinking of the Trump Tower.
Yeah,
That's all
yeah.
I could think
Like,
about.
well, that's $1 billion. That's just
Yeah.
one city. All right. You guys ready?
Yep.
Now back to Behind the Law with Justin Clark, right here on ESPN 580 Orlando.
One final segment ahead for a Thursday night here on Behind the Law. Justin Clark with you. I have Brianna to my right. Hi, Brianna. How are you?
I'm doing good.
And to my left, directly across from her, is Catalina Pennant. She's a real estate agent here in Orlando with eXp Realty. eXp, I've been hearing a lot about them lately. A lot of agents have been switching from Keller Williams over to eXp. What is this? What's so great about this eXp? Why does everyone keep raving about eXp?
It's a great company to work for. I personally, I was with Keller Williams before I
Shocker.
switched to eXp. A lot of people are. The technology, it's a fast-growing company, but the technology that it's that using our systems, our CRM, all the different ways you can profit from the business. That's great.
That's why people are switching. And they must have a good sales team out there. I mean, they're really getting the word out, it seems, to agents and really converting a lot of agents,
Yep.
no doubt about it. All right, so let's talk about real estate in general. And so I was one of the first lawyers here in town to help people through foreclosures and loan modifications and short sales. It really started for me in late 2007, right? We didn't know what was coming. I mean, we didn't see that there was a bomb about to go off in the country, essentially, but certainly here in this market, especially in this market. I mean, Orlando was... or Florida in general was really the epicenter of the financial collapse. I mean, we all struggled during that time. That being said, the market's come back. If the peak was in 2006, I mean, we're probably back to about, 85, 90% of the prices that were in 2006. That being said, I think a lot of us are still scared that it's going to explode again. And I mean explode in a bad way. But I don't think it's going to. I mean, I really don't think it's going to go anywhere nearly as poorly as it went back in 2007, 8, 9, 10, 11. What do you see over the next 2 to 5 years in the real estate market in Central Florida?
What I see currently, and I've read that recently, that the foreclosure rate is at the lowest it's been in over a decade, which is a really good sign. Now, interest rates are pretty good. They've decreased a little bit, which is great. Prices are going slowly up, but really slow, by about 8% by the end of this year. So I think the market, it's actually pretty steady, and it's going to stay like that for a little bit longer.
Right. And, all right, so steady is the word. You think it's going to be steady for a while. You don't see a terrible downfall coming anytime soon, do you?
No.
Do you think it's going to have a big spike anytime soon?
I actually don't. Not in the next couple of years, at
I
least.
tend to agree with you. All right, I know you work with a lot of buyers, and you don't just do new homes. You work with buyers to buy any type of home, of
Correct.
course. So a lot of people are listening right now who are maybe first-time home buyers, and they're worried because they've never made such a big purchase. They're scared, rightfully so. You know, they've never been through something like this. They've never had $200,000 on their balance sheet, essentially, or $300,000, whatever price of the home they're going to buy is. But from the time that someone signs a contract until the time of closing, as a first-time home buyer, what are some of the things and red flags I need to be really on the lookout for during that process to make sure that I don't get taken advantage of? Things like inspection and mortgage pre-approvals. What do I really need to be on the lookout for?
Well, first of all, if you're getting pre-approved for a mortgage, I would suggest don't go and make any big purchases. That's on the buyer's behalf. Don't spend a lot of money. What you want to be on the lookout for, especially in this market, things look pretty. Homes are beautiful and new or old construction, it doesn't matter. Don't let the interest rate or the price of the home fool you now. Make sure that you can afford the mortgage itself, looking into the future. Even if you have to change a little bit your location or your standards or what you wish for, make sure you're comfortable with the mortgage.
What about inspection? What do I really need to be on the lookout for? And do I even need to get an inspection?
I definitely recommend an inspection for no matter what. A new home, old home, get an inspection. You have an inspection period. You have the right to back out at any time or request certain things to be fixed. So that's your first step of protecting yourself. So definitely get an inspection and follow the inspector's advice.
What is an inspection is not that expensive, right? What's the normal cost of an inspection?
No, it's $300-$400.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely need to get an
Yeah,
inspection.
it's
There's
definitely worth
no
it.
ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you're going to buy a home, you have to get an inspection. I mean, who knows what could be behind those walls or something that you can't necessarily see. doesn't necessarily have to be disclosed by the seller, but could really ruin the value of your home on the biggest purchase of your life. Now, what about pre-approvals? Because I know a lot of people have buddies maybe in the mortgage business, and they say, oh, well, I know that you're going to have to go get a pre-approval before you can see a house or before any realtor is going to show you a house. Here's a pre-approval letter. I mean, don't you think I should do a little bit more digging to make sure that I'm actually approved so I don't get into this thing and then disappoint everyone?
Yeah, so how that works, most of the times that's what you tell people. You should get pre-approved before looking at the home. You don't have to. You can always look at homes with a realtor or go yourself, visit different communities, open houses. You can always look at homes without a pre-approval. You should get a pre-approval because you might look at a home that's $500,000 and might realize you can only afford a mortgage that's $350,000, and now you got your hopes up and you have to cut back on certain things, and that's a big disappointment. So that's an important reason why you should get a pre-approval.
We also talk about, I don't want my clients to be house poor. You know, there are a lot of people who go out there and they just spend way too much money on their home, and then the rest of their life is essentially in shambles because there's no money left over at the end of the month to do anything. Yeah, you have a great house, but you don't have a great life anymore because you don't have any money left over. And that's why I say, I think the general rule of thumb is people will say, oh, you can use about 35% of your gross monthly income on your mortgage payment. I like to keep it closer to about 25% of your gross monthly income on your mortgage payment, because that leaves money left over to put in your coffer. I mean, for an emergency, or just so you can go to Cracker Barrel once or twice a month. You know what I mean?
Enjoy life.
Enjoy life. Don't spend so much of your income on your mortgage payment, because again, at the end of the day, it is just a home, and you don't want to be house poor for sure. Let's say I am starting a new house hunt, okay? I listen to Behind the Law right here on ESPN 580 with Justin Clark all the time, and I'm starting a house hunt. There are tons of websites, thousands of websites now that I can go look for houses. Do you have any websites that you really recommend that I start my house hunt on?
Most people use Realtor.com. That's a very reliable website. I definitely recommend the local MLS or using your realtor's website. Yeah. But Realtor.com is a reliable one.
At what point do I want to get a buyer's agent involved? Do I need to do all the work myself first and look at houses and find one, or should I get you involved right away?
Most people do like in their visual, and they like to check out the listings online themselves, and you see advertisements and there's 3, 4, 5 different agents next to it. It doesn't mean it's the listing agent, it's just who's advertised on that website. But I definitely recommend starting with a real estate agent from the beginning. So don't go and see one home with an agent and then go visit a different one with a different agent and change it, because in this whole process, you're actually creating a relationship with your realtor. They get to know you, they get to know your family and what you need and what would be good for you, and they have your best interest at heart. And it's a long-lasting relationship, and it can be for most realtors. So just find one realtor, start from the beginning, the whole process. They're the professionals, and they will give you the best advice.
Let's say I am doing a house hunt online, all right, and I find a house that, I kind of like it. I want to go check it out. And obviously the agent next to it is the listing agent. Do you recommend, as the buyer, should I let that listing agent be my agent and the seller's agent, or should I get an agent of my own? And does that cost me more money to have my own agent?
Okay, so I definitely don't recommend against it. Obviously, the listing agent knows the seller and knows the home best. So you have the option of doing that if you don't have your own realtor already. If you prefer to keep things separate, and most people do think, I have my own realtor, they represent me, they have their own realtor. But at that point, when the listing agent represents you as the buyer, they convert to a transaction broker. So they represent both sides, and no, it does not cost you any more money.
How accurate is Zillow?
Not very. In percentage?
Yeah. I don't think so. A lot of people will go to Zillow and they'll come in to me and say, "Oh, my house is worth $350." I'm like, "Why? How do you know that?" That's what Zillow told. Yeah, that was the Zestimate. Duh.
Wow.
Everybody knows that. Or then they'll say they went to the property appraiser's website and they know their house is worth $250. And I'm like, "No, your house is actually worth $350." Because the property appraiser's website is always going to be low. It's always going to be about 75%. If someone's looking to sell their home, they want to list it, right? Would you be willing, and how could I reach out to you to come out and do a market analysis to really tell me what my house is worth?
Yes, definitely. You can always reach out to me at my phone, 407-925-3506. You can find me on social media on Facebook, The Orlando Realtor, or email me at catalina@theorlandorealtor.com. The estimates and the comparative market analysis are free. I can email that to you. That's where I recommend starting if you are looking to sell your home.
Good job today. We've done TV together. Now we've done radio. What are we going to have to do? Write a book next? Maybe that's what we should do. Catalina Bennett, good job. She's with eXp Realty. If you have any questions, reach out to her. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
I'm Behind the Law, ESPN 580 Orlando. Brianna, good job tonight. I don't know much, Brianna, but I do know one little tiny thing.
What's that?
I will see you right back here tomorrow night on ESPN 580 Orlando. All right.